What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lineman Life Podcast. This is obviously the first Lineman Life I've done in a little while, but this is a special occasion, and I wanted to bring some guys together so we could talk about some things going on in the world. As you know, things have been smoldering just a little bit, but I appreciate everybody for jumping on the stream. Make sure you smash that like button. With me right now, I have Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost, also part of the Geeks and Gamers Network, of which I'm also a part of. So say hi to the people, Ryan.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm glad Uche's doing something on his channel today. He needs to do more streams, need to do more videos. Because
indeed,
I mean, everybody's at home right now anyway. So
yeah, you're right. I've been slacking on that, but this is a great opportunity for us to get back on it. Now, we're going to have some more guests coming in here soon. We're going to have Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge After Dark. And we're also going to be having Young Rippa from the Young Rippa channel on YouTube. He's going to be coming on as well to talk with us. But me and Ryan, we're just talking right before we started. And, you know, everybody knows what's going on in the world right now. It's no secret. Obviously, there is a lot of turmoil here in the U.S. In regards to the situation with George Floyd. And there are a lot of ramifications and a lot of ripple effects that are spreading out throughout the entire cultural side of the United States. When you look at sports, when you look at entertainment, from top to bottom, there is a discussion going on between many people and a lot of different opinions out there. So I wanted to just kind of start to give my view on how things have been going, just simply because I haven't really come out in a public manner on YouTube and really given my perception on this and given my perspective actually on this. And you know, it's not as simple as people try to make it out to be. It's not so clear what we should do as a society. It's not so clear where the solutions can come from. Just because, you know, nothing is ever a simple solution that you can just flip a switch and have it done. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of variables that have to be considered. And in our society today, with the unfortunate situation that happened, that has sparked a chain of events that have kind of brought us to a sort of a raw truth in our society. And it's just the conversation of racism. Now, this isn't going to be a stream where we're going to do a ton of, you know, back and forth banter on necessarily racism itself. But I think it's good that we start kind of just talking about the reactions to what's going on right now with the turmoil and the unrest we have, and kind of lay out there just kind of how we all feel about what things make sense, what things don't. You know, and let's, you know, of course, we want to be fair in how we look at everything that we talk about here. Nobody's necessarily picking a side, but we all have opinions, and there's nothing that is wrong with sharing your opinions and sharing your views. I think the best way to get the ear of your neighbor is to understand that they may not see things the same way that you see them. So, with all that being said, Ryan, when you look at, and I want to start here just because it's kind of been the big topic as far as sports goes today. I know you've done a video on it on Sports Wars. Everybody make sure you go and hit that subscribe button on Sports Wars. But today, Drew Brees came out, made a statement in regards to the question of whether or not we'll see another episode of protests in the NFL once the season starts, when it comes to kneeling. And you know, I think that he had a statement, and let me just make sure I pull it up real quick so we can kind of read it back. His statement was not well received in some respects, but give me your take on how you felt. You know, first off, what did you think of what he said, and secondly, you know, what did you think of the response that we got from people who are closest to Drew Brees, and how you view it yourself?
Yeah, so I would first of all say it wasn't a statement. He was just answering a question like during an interview, you know? So it wasn't like he went out there to make some sort of statement. He just got asked a question. And it was about, hey, do you think we'll see more kneeling with everything that's happened in the offseason? Do you think there's going to be more kneeling during the NFL season? And how should people handle that? And he said that I can't support anything that I feel is disrespecting the American flag. That was how he started his statement. Mm-hmm. And that's what people took out of it. And that's the quote that's running around. He spent the next minute describing what he feels on the field as he's standing there during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that's really been lost in this entire situation is the fact that, there's a lot of support out there from some of the people who are bashing Drew Brees right now. There's a lot of support for them for Colin Kaepernick because they want everyone to know how he feels about the national anthem and what he feels when the national anthem happens. Well, Drew Brees is explaining his side and why he feels like it's disrespectful. And I don't think he went after anybody. And in fact, at the end, he said that I like it when everyone's standing because I feel like we're unified. And for someone who back in 2016 supported Colin Kaepernick as far as him speaking out and him getting his voice heard about racial injustice in society and all those things, he just didn't necessarily like the kneeling part. He didn't like the way that it was handled. For someone like that to basically share the same feelings as everyone else out there, but he just disagrees about this one little thing. So fuck that guy. That is the bullshit that we're dealing with right now in society. I feel like now more than ever, we're completely polarized. Yeah. 50% are sitting on one side of the fence, looking at the others and saying, you people are insane. I don't understand how you can think like that. The other 50% are doing the same exact thing. We are like, everyone is watching the same movie and seeing completely different things. And I don't know, it just pissed me off to have his teammates be so bitter and petty as to unfollow him on Twitter over his opinion on something, which, to be honest, I feel like the sports world, as far as journalists and athletes and stuff, that's probably a little bit unpopular there. But as far as general society, it's not a very unpopular opinion. I think it's much more 50-50. So it's just bullshit to me, and it really pissed me off when I saw how everyone reacted.
All right, and before I kind of give my take, let's welcome in the man, the myth, the legend, D-Day Cobra.
I mean, I unfollowed Ryan's bitch ass on Twitter when he talked bad about Nintendo, so I don't know what he's so upset about people unfollowing on Twitter. So.
And also hopping in right at the same time, we got Tom from Midnight's Edge. What's up, brother?
Hail, everybody. I'm still trying to get a hold of that other person, but other than that, I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. We just started, so you're actually right on time. And let's not forget, cancel Jeremy.
Yes. Use my pronouns. My pronouns are above and average. So if you guys can use my proper pronouns.
So Ryan basically, he went through his perspective, his feelings on the whole situation with Drew Brees and the statement that he made, or his opinion that he gave out, or his perspective on how he views the national anthem. And I look at that. And I understand what he's trying to say. I understand why he sees the anthem as such. And I pretty much agree with that. I do agree that the anthem is a unifying. It's our anthem. It's what we all, it's what we all kind of stand under. We all represent the anthem. We all represent that unity. That in unity there's strength. That's the motto of the United States. In union, there's strength, and it is built to represent that unification for us as Americans. Now, with that being said, on the other side of it, I think that there needs to be a little bit more context. I think that he was, and I don't want to come off as being disrespectful to Drew Brees because we both went to Purdue and we're both from Texas. But I feel like he was a bit tone deaf there. His comment, it's in and of itself, is not the problem. That's not the problem at all to me. The problem, and why I think that you're seeing a lot of his teammates, who are mainly African Americans, kind of turn their backs a little on him at this point is because that was a utterly tone-deaf comment to make for the context in which the question was asked. The question was asked of him as to whether he could see protests, kneeling, reemerge in the NFL like they did back in 2016. And he answered it almost, and I hate to say this, he answered it in a political way. And again, like I said, in the verbiage of what he said, I have no problem with what he said. It is accurate. It is an accurate thing to say for the majority of people in this country when you ask them about the national anthem. But in the context of that question, this was an opportunity for him to look at it to answer that in respect to, is this something that we now can understand is not about the anthem at all? It has nothing to do with the anthem. The anthem is only the setting, is only the backdrop for the silent protest of the kneeling or of the arm locking or whatever it may be, whatever teams chose. Teams chose different ways to do it back in 2016. We all pay attention to the kneeling, but really there were I think 3 different kinds of silent protests that were done during the national anthem that didn't include having your hand over your heart and standing at attention. Now, for me, if he answered that question, the ideal answer in my mind for him would have been, and I'm not saying that he should have said this, I'm just saying if it were me, I would have just came at it from in his position. I would have said, look, we understand what's going on in the country right now. There's a lot of people in pain. There's a lot of people in pain due to things that are out of their control, such as issues of police brutality. There's a lot of pain that people are dealing with because of the results of these protests and the elements that have decided to take these protests as an opportunity to harm the businesses and harm the establishments that small business owners and corporations alike have built to enrich and to better the lives of the people in their own communities. And this is a time for us as Americans to unite, to come together, to, for once in the last decade, look at each other face to face and come to a realization that we can't do this divided. We can't do this in this polar climate. We cannot survive as a country if we continue to go down this path of you pick a side and you pick a team, and if you're not on my team, then you're wrong, because it just isn't that simple. There are so many things that we all agree on that we don't even realize we agree on. And if you showed us that we agreed on them in front of each other, we would argue about the fact that we agree on it, not even realizing that we're saying the same thing. It happens a lot. And it's now a time for people to look each other in the eyes and begin to discuss and just begin to talk about the fact that we need to first stop being so divided in how we think and stop pointing fingers at each other, because at this point, it doesn't even matter whether you're right or wrong. It doesn't even matter. Right or wrong be damned. Let's be Americans first. And then we can sit down and find middle ground on things that we don't see the same way. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same final conclusion. And that is to live a life in safety and live a life equally with equal opportunities to be safe, equal opportunity to prosper, and equal opportunity to bring up a generation that is going to come behind us, our children, into a world where they will feel like they have the same opportunity as the next person. And I know I'm long-winded here, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to the fact that when you're giving an answer to a question that could be a loaded question, You can't go wrong if you go through the route of solidarity. That's what we learned in football. You never throw your teammates under the bus. You never say anything that can draw a rift between you and your teammate, because he is the person you have to trust on Sunday to do his job. And that's the difference between whether you get paid and your family's able to eat or not. So when it comes, even if you know they're wrong, even if you know it was his fault on that play, you never tell that reporter that. You get behind your teammate. You say, you know what? We got to do better as a group. We got to do better as an offensive line. We got to do better as a receiving core. We got to do better as a team. So we give ourselves the best opportunity to go out there on Sunday and play our best game. That's what being unified means. When you pick a side, you know what Drew Brees said in his response. You know what that is to black people out there right now who are protesting? You know and even in myself, you know what that sounds like? Fuck off. That's what that sounds like, even though we know he's not saying that, but that is easily how it feels, because you have an opportunity to actually, with your influence, set a tone of empathy, and you chose to be selfish. And that's how black people will look at that. And that's why he's getting the heat he's getting, because that's how his teammates feel.
I'm glad you brought that point up, because what do you feel? How do you feel about LeBron being silent on China when he wouldn't have that tough conversation when he was in China? LeBron's all about having tough conversations, even if you're uncomfortable.
Okay.
He didn't want to have that conversation in China with his clout, with his power. How do you think that felt to the people that are oppressed in China when LeBron wouldn't speak up? That's a F you to people of China. But LeBron's all about speaking up and having tough conversations. LeBron's a hypocrite. He's the reason this got blown out of proportion. He didn't speak up for China.
Let me say this, and fair enough. That's a fair point to make, but consider this. What do you know about domestic policy in Hong Kong? What do you know about domestic policy in China? What does LeBron James know about domestic policy in Hong Kong? What does he know about domestic policy in China? How does he
knew enough to tell Daryl Morey that he was uneducated on it?
Hold on. Neither was LeBron James, which is probably
no. LeBron told Daryl Morey he was uneducated. He told Daryl Morey, you're uneducated. So LeBron claimed he knows. LeBron claimed he knows.
He never said he knew.
How can you say someone's uneducated on something if you don't know?
Because again, the simple questions I just asked. What does he know about other than what was being? And I remember we all kept up with the info surrounding those situations. And I'm not defending LeBron. I don't even like LeBron, but I'm just saying this because I'm trying to be fair here. You're asking whether or not LeBron should be educated on the politics of a different country on the other side of the world, regardless of what the overarching sentiment is. And a lot of people don't know what's going on between Hong Kong and China, because this is a transition of power back, handing Hong Kong back to China, because Hong Kong was colonized and owned, or I guess leased, quote unquote, by the Royal British Empire. And when that ownership period ended, there's a period, and I think this was mid-90s, when that period of them owning Hong Kong ended. Hong Kong began a transition period that is supposed to end in 2042, I think, or 2047. At that date, in 2047, Hong Kong is now China. It's back in China because it's China's. It's belonged by China, or China owns. It is a part of China. So the problem there is that you have a colony of the British Empire that was culturally transitioned into the British culture and etiquette of ways. 2047. Peter Callow just put down there in the comments. But you have a society that is going to be handed over, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of how much they protest. They will be assimilated into the Chinese Communist Party in 2047. And nobody can stop that. They are the reason why they have been protesting so feverishly in Hong Kong is because China the Chinese communist government has began to infiltrate and legislate for tighter restrictions across the board on the liberties of the people of Hong Kong. Now, the people of Hong Kong are in a very, very shitty situation because they have no real culture connected to China. They are a very European, British style culture. They speak English fluently with no accent. They drive on the right side of the road, which I think China does too, but they are very Western in every sense of the word, in the same ways you would see in London. So there is no real connection between them and China China has begun enforcing and influencing their politics in Hong Kong in the last 5 to 10 years. And the citizens, mainly the university students, have begun to notice and have now begun to take up their own protests against that, and which, as we all know, you've seen a 6-month plus period of protests that were day in and day out. They're fighting for literally their cultural lives. And I mean, I guess they're hoping and praying that at some point somebody can come in and save them from having to be handed back over to China. But in all likelihood, that's not going to happen. They will be under the same communist regime that the rest of China is under in 2047. With all that being said, now that I've given you all the background, LeBron James, I'm 90% sure he doesn't know that. LeBron James and anybody playing in the NBA, because of the deals they have with China, you are making a business decision by commenting on anything to do with that, especially if you don't know what's really happening there. So for him to open his mouth for a different country that has a different political stage than America, and come out and make a political statement and a business statement, literally with billions and billions of dollars that he could lose for not only himself, but also for everyone involved in the NBA as one of the faces of the NBA, that would be career and potentially league suicide. So everybody shut your mouths, because that is not got nothing to do with us. And you saying something is going to change nothing. It is not even going to register with the Chinese government, because all they'll do is cancel any deal they have with the NBA, and they have a lot of deals worth a lot of money, and that will damage a league that doesn't sell out every week because they got 80-something games. A league that actually, for lack of a better word, is kind of just waiting above on their profit lines. They don't make the money the NFL makes, not even close to it.
But how can you say his words won't have an impact when you're clearly saying his words can have an impact? You said that they could lose billions if he speaks out. So clearly his words can have an impact. But
negative.
You're saying, right. But so you're saying it's okay for LeBron to not speak from the heart for business reasons, but it's not okay for Drew Brees to speak from the heart.
Drew Brees is talking about reasons. Drew Brees is responding to a question that has to do directly with the society he lives in every day of his life. Society,
and LeBron does business in China.
Hold on. And
Jeremy, you haven't had enough time to talk. Jeremy's had enough time to talk. It's Uche's turn now.
No. We just have to. If we're looking at it, let's look at it from the facts. LeBron James, Drew Brees is speaking on domestic issues that are here with us every day in this country. Yes, you can. You do have somewhat a responsibility to say something. You're a citizen here. This is your land. This is where you're from. You're not from Hong Kong. You're not from China. Don't speak on their politics, especially when you have money in it, because all that can do is put you in a negative spot with that quote unquote business partner. Now here in the U.S., absolutely say something. This is your country. You're a proud American. You're a citizen. Speak your opinion. You can't do that in China. No athlete in China is going to say a damn thing. They'll disappear if they talk too long. But here you can do that, and that's
That
why
entire premise cancels out your entire argument. You
No,
literally
no,
are
no,
saying
no.
in America, a black athlete can speak out against his government, yet in China they can't. Yet
No,
we're supposed to believe that everybody's oppressed in America.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. I said Americans should not be speaking on Chinese politics. That is what I'm saying. Chinese citizens aren't allowed to, because they have different. There's no such thing as free speech in China. That does not exist. Period. Does not exist. We have a luxury. We have the privilege, the great fortune to be American citizens in a country where we can speak freely, and the government cannot silence you.
I agree.
That is not the case in China. In Hong Kong, yes, but only until 2047. But here, yes, we have that innate freedom that the government cannot silence us from speaking. Over there in China, no, that does not exist. Does not exist. So
essentially, you're saying LeBron is more worried about money than people and them being.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that regardless of whether or not he is worried about money or business, it does not make a difference when you speak in a country that does not recognize freedom of speech like you do. That's like the old saying, when in Rome, be Roman. When you're in another country, you're not in America. So don't act like you're in America. So you can't expect to go to a different country that does not have freedom of speech, period, in the worst way. We all know that. They don't have it. So you can't go over there, especially when your government and your sports league do over half of their business with that country. For you to come out and speak on their domestic politics is career suicide. So it's not, it makes no sense, and it benefits no one for you other than sentiments and other than optics. It does you no good to open your mouth and say anything. And from a common sense point of view, why would you? You don't even understand their political landscape. So why would you make a comment on something that you may be completely wrong on and have no idea that you're wrong? Stay in your lane is what it amounts to. And that's why LeBron has no right or any weight to speak about what's happening in a different part of the world that has different rules than what we have here.
Well, I completely disagree. If people are being mistreated around the world and you send tweets out, and I quote from LeBron, and I quote, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Our lives begin the day we become silent about things that matter. Yet when he went to China, he said he's not going to be told to shut up and dribble. Yet when he went to China, he did just that.
Yeah, because if you don't, you know what will happen? They'll put you in jail. And then what good are you? Because you're in China. They don't give a damn if you're American. You break their laws, they'll put you in jail. Look what happened to the boy from North Korea, right? He broke their laws. They put him in jail. And they didn't care that he was an American. They didn't care that the president said a word. They didn't care about none of that. And they didn't sanction him because of it. We didn't sanction North Korea because of that. So now you're in a situation where you're putting yourself in the worst case scenario, and if they want, you'll be there for a decade. And you won't, and that'll be it.
You're sitting here trying to convince people LeBron James would get put in jail for words. Are you kidding me? Nobody believes that.
Let's be real. Let's be real. He didn't not talk because of the Chinese government. He didn't talk because the NBA didn't want them to say anything, and because
of the Chinese government,
and because their sponsors didn't want them to say anything.
Because the Chinese government owns half of the sponsors.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it was completely about money, in my opinion, why he didn't speak. And let's be honest, I don't think that a 9-minute video on Twitter of something happening in the United States makes you that much more informed of something than a 9-minute video of something going on in Hong Kong. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that gives that just because you're a black person and you watch a video of someone tragically getting killed on tape makes you an authority on the topic.
When you're a black person, look, let's be honest here. How many black people here have been pulled out of their cars by cops for no apparent reason? How many black people here have been encircled by police when they say they just want to have a talk with you, but there's 6 of them standing around you in a circle, looking at you and asking you how you can afford a car like that. That makes every person who has been in those kind of situations at repeated moments that you're kind of an expert. You can speak on that because you've seen it before. It's been.
What about Tony Timpa? What about Tony Timpa?
Tell me about Tony Timpa.
Oh, why was this not international news where Tony Timpa, a white man, was pretty much, tortured by cops for 30 minutes on camera, smothered, and they made jokes the entire time. He ended up dead. This happened 2 years ago. White guy on camera, making jokes, just treating him like shit. He was literally not conscious.
Where
they
was
were
this?
just jokes on
I think I saw
Texas, maybe. I can't remember. Tony Timpa, nobody talked about it because nobody cared. But so me as a white guy, am I supposed to go, oh, well, it's just one white guy that they tortured. It couldn't happen to me. If it could happen to that guy, it can happen to me. So can I not be concerned for my life?
You're absolutely correct. That is another example of the reason why these things are going on the way they're going on right now, because the training and the utter immunity that a lot of police officers see and the way that they operate are completely contrast to what the values and the principles of the oath they took demand of them. That's why, there are people, and, one of my favorites, Tupac, he came out and said it himself. The police are the biggest gang in America. They operate like a gang. They protect each other. It's 10 times harder to get them for anything illegal than it would be for them to pull over and arrest any one of us here talking simply because they're having a bad day and decide they're going to make up a reason why they pulled us over and then pull us out the car and then put us in handcuffs and then throw us in the back of the car, then search our car without any kind of warrant or suspicion that would lead him to have a cause for search and seizure. And they can do that. And then they can say that you're resistant on the police report. And who's going to believe you? You have to prove that you didn't do it. They don't have to prove that they're making it up.
That's where it comes down to, and that's what we're saying is like the idea that all of this is about race somehow.
It's not all about race.
Just over 300 people were killed by the police in 2019 that were black. 450 around there were killed that were white by the police, right?
That's a false equivalency.
Black
people make up 17% of the population.
I see where Uchi's coming from, but the problem is, bottom line is, cops have to be taught a better way to deal with things, in a sense of, I have a feeling already that I've already kind of seen something to this effect, but that one cop that was standing there, who wasn't doing anything, but he was just standing there. He's going to be the first one to break down on the stand and say, look, I knew it was something, I wanted to do something, but I couldn't. My 3 other, coworkers were over there doing their thing. And if I would have jumped in and said anything, I would have been the one who had been persecuted for the next however many weeks at work because of that fucking thin blue line. Okay, that's the first thing that needs to be lifted, and we need to be able to protect officers who want to speak out against other officers who they think are doing wrong, because that's the thing. You can sit there and go, yeah, there's bad cops and there's good cops, but you can sit, if the good cops don't speak out against the bad cops, then they're just as bad as those bad cops. That's the fucking problem. And this loyalty, family, thin line bullshit they have going on needs to be tore apart and saying, look, this is not the way this needs to work. You're here to protect and serve. Each human being should be treated like a human being no matter what. Just like as an officer, yes, most officers get killed when they're doing basic traffic stops. Okay? It goes both ways. It's something that needs to change in a sense that we need to be less afraid of the cops, and they need to quit treating everybody like animals, especially, black men or whoever for that matter. It doesn't matter who you are. You should need to be treated like a human being. And I've seen I don't know how many videos in the past week and how many situations and things that I've had to say and defend Robert Meyer Burnett for his things that he said yesterday, which is just utter horseshit when you stop and think about the hypocrisy of the people who are coming after him. It's like, look, he was upset and he said something out of anger because he saw a video of an innocent black man dying because of this bullshit. Isn't that what these whole protests were about to begin with? How are you trying to cancel him, making that any better? It's not not going to bring anybody back. It's not going to make any difference. Nothing is going to change until it starts at the top. And that's when they make it okay for other cops to say, wait a minute, time out. That's not okay. These people are supposed to have the highest moral standards in our community, and that's the problem. They don't.
Yeah.
Uche, I have a question. Since my statistics were a false equivalency, is there if the number of black people killed by the police was equivalent to 17% of the total, would you be okay with that? Would there be anyone out there in the streets about this right now, you think?
I mean, you have to break that down a little bit. So you're saying if but see, this is another thing also. Okay. This is another thing that I have a problem reconciling in my mind. Why we point to these statistics, we point to the numbers and say, well, the numbers say this or the numbers say that. But it's not even about the numbers of how many have died. It's about the likelihood that if I get pulled over and you get pulled over at the exact same time, I am 4 times more likely that my car will be searched. Regardless of what I'm driving, regardless of what our jobs are, regardless of what our history is, I'm 4 times more likely to be searched. You know what cops? You know what a cop has said to me? Has a cop ever told you your car smells like weed just because? And then they search it, and they pull out all the shit in your car. They pull apart parts of your car, brand new car.
But don't you smoke weed?
Not in my car, I don't.
But it could I've never smoked weed a day in my life, so nobody's ever said anything I've ever smells like weed.
I don't walk out of my damn car smelling like weed, and I've
smelled weed on people that didn't have it on them, and you smell it later. That you can do that.
Look, if it was one time, I would be like, you got a point. I've had numerous times. I've had times where I'm coming out, where I've left football practice. Ain't nothing in my car. And I'm fresh out the shower. And I've been pulled over and a cop tells me my car smells like weed. Dude, what? Stop. You're full of it. I got pulled out of my car here in Atlanta by a cop. This was, weirdly enough, back in 2016. Pulled out of my car. This dude yanked me. I mean, I barely could open the door. I didn't have my license on me. I literally did an interview and was driving home, was driving to my house. I stopped. I actually had to get in front of a cop car because I had to turn left. We were going to end up in the same lane. I was in front of him in the middle lane, and I moved to the left and got to the light. When the arrow turned green, he hit the lights. I already knew he was because he was running my plates as I watched him behind me. I was driving a $300,000 car, and he ran my plates because the top of my car was down. It was a drop top, windows all the way down. Pulls me over in front of a Starbucks, and this is an R8. This is an Audi R8 GT Spider. This car is maybe 5 feet tall. And this dude comes over. He can see completely in the car. The car's been detailed earlier in the day. It's spotless. He doesn't even answer the question I asked him. Officer, what's the issue, officer? I didn't even ask him why he pulled me over. I said, officer, what's the issue? Roll your window up for me. I'm like, huh? I didn't understand what he was talking about. I said, whoa, what do you mean? He said, roll your window up for me about halfway. I said, what'd you pull me over for? He said, roll your window up. Do me a favor, roll your window up. My windows were completely down. I'm like, what? And I'm kind of confused because it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to tell me what I've been pulled over for, and then I'm supposed to give you my license, and you're telling me to roll up my window. I roll my window up halfway. He sticks a fucking tent reader on it and says, tent's too dark. Let me see your ID. I told him I didn't have my ID, but I'll give you my first and last name, my birth date, and my social security number. Gave him all three to him, went back to his car, came back. Oh, you didn't pop up. Nothing came up. Let me get it again. So I know how to spell my name. I gave him the right spelling. Gave it to him again. He goes back, comes back to my car a second time, and he says, I need you to get out the car. And I was just like, okay. I literally was in basketball shorts and a t-shirt with flip-flops on. Opened my door. Soon as the door clicked open, he rips the door open and grabs me by my arm. And I'm like, whoa. I like, my first instinct was yank my arm back. But motherfuckers was getting killed at that time. So I was like, yeah, just let that arm go limp and, fall out of the car. Kind of like, like I don't have any bones in my body, because I'm not going to resist this guy. And I don't want him to even think for a second that I'm going to resist, because he's already pissed off and I don't even understand why. So he pulls me out the car. People across the street are recording, 20 people with their cameras out recording. He puts me in handcuffs, says I'm a threat because he doesn't know who I am, puts me in the back of his car. As I'm in the back of the car, he's searching my car. And I yell out the window, "Officer, I didn't give you consent to search my car. What are you doing?" He looks up at me, looks back into my car, and he says, "Oh, I thought I saw a roach in here. A roach in between your seat." And it's like, dude, stop it. That's bullshit, and you know it. So you pull me out, and when you get back in the car talking shit to me, and I give you my name the same way for the third time, there goes my name, pops up on your computer screen. No warrants, no tickets, no nothing. And I name dropped every one of the higher up officers in his Zone 3 precinct, because they've all worked for me. And his entire attitude changed once I dropped 3 names. So see how he perceived me.
I don't disagree. Cops are dicks. Look, I used
That's
to.
not a dick. That's not a dick.
No,
get it twisted. That's profiling. That's what that is.
No, I mean, look, do you think I haven't been in situations where cops have given me shit? I used to street race all the time. I had a black Z28 Camaro, blacked out windows. You couldn't see anything. I'm speeding all across town. I have my license suspended 3 or 4 times. I got pulled over so many times. And I can't tell you, maybe it was my retail training, because I had to deal with these angry moms bitching at me all day long. I can't tell you how many times I've been in situations where cops have pulled me over and tried me just because I look like an arrogant kid to them. And I just always say yes or no, sir. Yes or no, sir. I don't question their motives. I don't question them searching my car. I just say yes or no, sir. Every time.
Why wouldn't you question them searching your car?
Because there's nothing to find.
Right. It's your right.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing to find.
If it doesn't matter, then it shouldn't matter to you whether we have freedom of speech or not. It shouldn't matter to you whether we have freedom of privacy or not. Because when they violate it and you don't say anything, then they think they can do whatever they want.
Here's what I think, Uche. I think that there's just shitty cops like there's shitty everybody. Pat says in the chat, "I'm white. I had my Ford single cab Ranger searched 3 times. And when I was jogging around town training for the National Guard, I had a cop stop me for 20 minutes asking why I was jogging." Another person, Kyle Winfrey. "Yes, white guy here. They have done that to me." Where
are they at?
In your chat,
I will say this, and I'm not trying to play some victim bullshit or anything like that. I've talked to some of my black friends about this, because I noticed a few things a few times when I've dealt with things out in public between cops, and specifically one time when I tried returning something to Best Buy. Okay, the kid behind the counter was giving me some fucking attitude, so I gave him some attitude back. Okay, this guy got really belligerent with me and literally jumped over the fucking counter like I was going to start some shit. And I'm taken aback. I'm like, whoa, dude, you're taking this way too fucking seriously. And I brought this up to a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I used to deal with that kind of shit all the time." It's like, if you're a black man and you get the least bit, your pitch and your voice goes to a point, if somebody's an authority of you, they will treat you like that all the time. And it's like, are you kidding me?
I personally don't disagree with what the overall sentiment is, that black people get profiled more. I don't disagree with that.
I know. I'm just saying, but that. It's like...
My issue is, and this all kind of started with the whole Drew Brees and everything like that. And my issue is people like LeBron James are forcing everyone else's opinion to be with theirs. And if you don't exactly say what they believe you should say, they will swarm you. They will destroy you. And you're seeing an onslaught. Drew Brees, legitimately, and Uche can speak better to this than I can probably, but from my perspective and fans' perspectives, one of the best dudes in the NFL. Like just a good dude, no controversy. His teammates don't bash him. He always does good outreach work. He did so much for New Orleans when Katrina and everything like that. He's just always been a good dude. Like you even hear like Tom Brady, people say, oh, he's an arrogant douchebag or he's this. You hear about people that were teammates with Michael Jordan. Oh, he was a savage. You don't hear that about Drew Brees. You just hear he's a good guy. You hear Aaron Rodgers, dickhead, but like one fucking opinion that wasn't even that bad. It just wasn't exactly what LeBron wanted it to be, and the onslaught.
See, I don't think it was that he didn't say exactly what everybody wanted him to hear, or what whoever wanted him to say. I think that it was and I saw and I felt it only because I thought back to what was the question that this guy asked him again? Because did he ask him
if he thought there were going to be more kneelings?
No, I'm monologuing. I went back in my head and was like, wait, what did he ask him again? Because he's not talking about that really. He's not answering that question. He's giving his perspective and he's telling us what the anthem means to him, which I am totally 100% on board with that sentiment that he has about the anthem, 100%. But he didn't answer the question. And that, in the faces of people who are dealing with the situations as we know it right now in this country, it is the most subtle of slaps to the face. That's all I'm trying to get across. Because people, white, black, yellow, green, everything in between, we all like Drew Brees. And he has been on, he's always one of those,
I'm a Packer fan. No.
He's one of those guys who is historically always been about the solidarity of a team, the uniting of under one ideal, under one common goal to, for the betterment of everyone on the football field and for as far as his work off the field. The same thing. The same thing is true. So for him to be tone deaf, I don't get mad at him. I'm not mad at him for saying what he said, but I do recognize that it is a tone deaf answer he gave because you weren't really answering the question. You were just giving a perspective on the anthem and the flag itself, which that's a sentiment that the majority of Americans have on a daily basis. The flag, we understand what the flag means to us. We understand that the national anthem is what we unite and stand behind. And a lot of reasons is because of a lot of the trials and tribulations that people from on the service side and people on the civil side have gone through to protect it and to lift it up above as that shining hill or that shining city on the hill. So we get that, Drew. Yeah. Now answer the question. Just answer the question. What do you think?
I think he did though. Like
he didn't. He said he didn't answer. He said that I will never defend anyone who disrespects the American flag. So now, are you saying that if kneeling comes back, that is disrespecting the flag, or are you just saying I will never accept anyone disrespecting our flag and our anthem? What are you saying?
Quote from Colin Kaepernick, August 27, 2016. I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. That is a quote from the person that started this entire thing. So Drew Brees' answer
and you know what? And that flag gives him that
exactly
right to have
Drew
that opinion.
Brees has the right to
and
have
nobody is, and I'm not lashing out at Drew Brees over it. But if we're going to call it what it is, then call it what it is. It is a tone deaf answer. It's not understanding and not being aware of what is going on in the climate, which is the reason why they asked you the question, and how you think it is going to affect a workplace that you are directly involved in. So you didn't really give an answer. You just gave an opinion that is. I feel like
you moved the goalpost based on what. Like,
how did I move the goalpost?
So Colin Kaepernick spoke out against Castro. He shows support for Castro.
No, that's
he's not from that country, but he's not from the country.
And nobody, and those comments, I never gave a damn about those comments because This ain't Cuba.
But you say
I've never defended them.
You say athletes can't speak out against other countries on any level, but then Kaepernick literally does it. And
okay, look, dude, like you got to understand what you're pointing out right now is not that. That's
my point is
I'm consistent. I'm consistent in how I view what he said on Castro and how I view what wasn't said in China.
Let's listen to this question because I think the question was fucking shitty because it was like a 30-second question. I've got my screen shared if you're ready, Uche.
Yeah. Hold on. Go ahead.
Well, I got it shared.
Do you have to? Does he have to hit audio? Because I know
I already fucking did. You piece of shit.
I was making sure Uche knew what he was doing. Shut up, Ryan.
Well, I shared it.
Fuck you. I'm on Uche's side. Fuck you and your white ass.
That was quick. I'm sharing my screen, Uche, so you can just share mine whenever.
Yeah, you just click on. You see his picture down below with the rest of it.
Yeah. I got it.
And you just click on it, and it'll show it.
Share.
It's moving. See it? Oh, that's my picture. There should be a little grayed out box next to my picture. You see it moving. The screen. Just like add it to the stream. It's right next to the thing you just clicked.
Oh, it says remove from stream or
go right next to my picture, and it should be like my screen that I'm sharing from my desktop.
I don't see you sharing anything, dude. Oh, I see where you're at. Okay. My bad. It's the next icon over.
God. All right.
I'm drunk.
All right. Let's listen to this fucking dude's question here because it's really long and windy.
Is looking back now at Kaepernick's protests from a few years ago, and obviously they were always about police brutality, and now it's coming back to the fore, and a lot of people expect that we will see players kneeling again even when the NFL season starts. I'm curious how you think the NFL will and should respond to that, and of course, you're such a leader in the league. What is your responsibility as a leader in times like this for the rest of your...
See, so he asked him one question, what should they do? Yeah, he asked him, what should the NFL do, which... Let's be real. A lot of active NFL players may not necessarily answer that.
Yes. How would the NFL react? How do you think the NFL will react if it happens? And what do you think?
Mm-hmm. And so then he answers what he thinks first.
Okay, let's hear it.
And players in the league.
Well, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America.
So he didn't say I will never support. He said I will never agree.
Okay, now in that first sentence, is he saying that kneeling is disrespectful?
Yeah.
Or is he saying that he won't agree with someone who disrespects the flag? What are you inferring by saying I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag? Are you saying that kneeling is disrespecting the flag? That's one question I have.
That's what he's saying. I think that's
okay. So now you have his without. You don't even have to hear anything else he says.
You don't have to hear the explanation of why.
Well, no, because he's not explaining why. He's not explaining necessarily why he won't agree with somebody he's not explaining why he would agree or disagree with the kneeling of the flag. He's just saying that he sees it as disrespectful. Then he talks about his what he feels when he hears the national anthem. Okay, that sentiment is totally acceptable and understandable. But
that explanation is him explaining why he thinks that kneeling is disrespectful. That's literally what he's saying. Like,
but again, okay, and that's fair enough. I'm not gonna, that's fine. I'm not trying to rebut that in any way. What I'm saying is to people who see differently, and this is why I say it's tone deaf. You know who you play football with. You know who your teammates are. You know who the majority of people in that city you play in are. So why would you be so tone deaf to what is happening to everyone in this country right now? That is tone deafness.
I don't disagree with that. Like the meme that Ryan shared about the Madden and they put zero awareness on his Madden.
Yeah,
that was fucking hilarious.
That was so good.
That means you're not being aware of the actual environment that you're in. The the civil unrest, this period that we're in right now. Well, should we not share this anymore?
I got you.
Ryan showed his porn page.
And, you know, and look, guys, I don't want to keep going on this topic because I actually wanted to switch over from this. So I just want to round it up by saying I don't have a problem with Drew Brees speaking about how he feels. That's his opinion. That's fine. I only have an issue with, like we just came to kind of our resolute answer there, is that there wasn't any awareness in the way in how he answered that. You weren't being asked that to have your overall scope of what you think. You're being asked that because of what's happening right now. So you should answer it in that context, which can be, in my opinion, a totally different answer than how you feel about your sentiment of the national anthem. It can be different, and it's still, and you're still good, but you're tone deaf.
So many people bullshit because everybody's scared to be honest. Drew Brees was just honest.
No, I'm just saying he would be true to himself. He could still be true to himself if he answered it in the context and was honest on that front. And you're not stepping over any of your own internal values by doing that. But let's move on from this because we spent enough time talking about that. And there's a lot of people in here. We got some super chats in here. Let me get to them. Guys, it's been a while since the live stream. So, trying to get back into this thing. We have Jack JW Productions for $1.99. Fast and Furious, starring Jeremy Grimes. Thank you very much for that. $1.99. I believe he had another one before that. I appreciate that too. And Rebecca Browen, she says, "Hey Uche, when are you going to be playing Mario Kart?" Easy. I think we're on Rocket League now.
No, we're doing tonight.
Oh, we're doing it tonight.
Are you going to be around?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna be on that. You already know.
Oh boy, worldwide.
Uche, you better liquidate some assets for that 500 per game.
Let me get my camera. I'll give you this camera for the 500.
We're playing tonight on Game with Geeks.
I'll be on
YouTube.
In an hour.
And here we have also formerly Rod Line for a tone deaf answer. Was the reaction too harsh? Yeah, I think it was. I think the reaction was too harsh because if you know Drew Brees, and I mean, I don't know him personally that well. I've met him numerous times at Purdue, but I don't know him that well. But I understand the kind of influence he has. I understand the kind of high regard that a lot of people have for him within the league itself, as well as in the fan base. I can't bring myself to be pissed off at somebody who wasn't aware, and I don't want to even say that because I do think it was tone deaf, but I'm not going to hold it against him on a level of veracity that you're seeing from a lot of people, just simply because I feel like, sometimes they may not get it all the way right. You can't blame somebody for that. It's not that simple. Well, that's where there's all this gray area. And sometimes you just don't answer it. Your answer can't please everybody. So when you try to please everybody, you please no one. So just speak what you want to speak from your heart. And that's what he did. And I can't blame him for that. But I can only point out that in my opinion, it was a tone deaf answer. And I'll leave it at that. And we got one more here. From Rebecca Browen. Oh, thank you. This is a two-timer. Uche, if Drunk 3PO can win a game, so can you. That does not make me feel very good. Because I don't know if I can right now.
I think that the thing that I talked about in the video, that was like so, it just made me roll my eyes so hard, is like I said, I think that 95% of this stuff, Drew Brees probably supports a lot of people. And this like one thing that he's talking about that he happens to disagree, and everyone just like piling on him and trying to fucking unfollowing him on Twitter, unfollowing your team captain on Twitter.
That to me was a step too far. And that's simply because in football, if you have a grievance with your teammate, you handle that in-house. You don't put something out there that can become a headline. You unfollow him, people are going to talk about that. Yeah. You know what he could have done? Send Drew a text. be like, I've done it to my teammates before.
What the fuck?
Exactly. WTF? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And then you're gonna get a phone call, and then y'all are gonna kind of argue for a moment, and then you're gonna start finding that you're gonna start hashing it out and coming back to, all right, now that you're done, now that we're both done defending ourselves and being angry, let's just be honest with each other. We know how you feel about your teammate. You're going to ride and die for your teammate. So, he said something that I may not agree with, but I'm not finna throw him under the bus in front of these millions and millions of people. I'm going to do it to his face or on the phone where it's me and him and it's only us. And that conversation stays between us. That's one of the dangers of social media. Stay off that shit when you're mad. All right, one more super chat here from RC from NYC. What's up, Uche? What's up, panel? What's up, chat? Hope everybody will stay safe and blessed, and we appreciate that, RC from NYC. This dude has been rocking with me since day one. I appreciate that, brother. Now let's move on to another topic I want to talk about, and I think this is going to bring us more back to, back to our the things that are going on with like the access media and all these knee-jerk responses and all of these, kind of catered responses to a lot of the things that are going on. We know that these are mostly all prepared statements. We know that these companies and these journalists, everybody wants to be on the right side of history on this, I guess. And and again, it's not that simple. There's right and there's wrong, and then there's everything in between. But one of the big stories that came out this morning was John Boyega, who did join the Black Lives Matters protest in London, after which I think he tweeted or put out somewhere on social media that he doesn't think he's going to have a career after this.
That's a fucking laughable statement. The irony, you're more likely to lose your career if you don't tweet anything over the next 4 days than you are to join one of these protests. But let's be real. But
not only just John Boyega, we also have a situation with Robert Meyer Burnett and him coming out. And again, like I said before, when you're mad, when you know you're at your red boiling point, it would behoove you to stay off of social media. And this is a reason. This could be a reason why. And again, I am a fan of Robert Meyer Burnett. I've been a fan of his for a few years without even telling anybody, because I would watch him. He was one of the main reasons why I watched the John Campea show, is because I like to hear his insight on a lot of the entertainment news and movie news that he talks about on a daily basis. Now, Robert Meyer Burnett came out and had an impassioned statement or opinion, or, I don't really know how you want to put it, but he came out and he raged on Twitter about a former police officer who was shot and killed, a retired police officer who was shot and killed during the looting and the destruction of property during these demonstrations. And I was shocked about that incident in and of itself, because it's when you see these old, and we call them OGs, but this is the old, wise, retired officer who came out to not only protect his business, but I'm sure to try and talk some sense into these people who were out there. Who is that? Is that me? No, that's not me. He came out there to basically try and provide some calm as a retired officer, but also as a person who has that wisdom, that kind of old head person who comes out, and people generally listen to those people, or at least avoid conflict with them. And this guy got shot in the back and killed. Robert Meyer Burnett was infuriated by that, and he came out and he let it be known. And and almost, how long was it after that? How long was it after his tweet that Joe Schmo and them came out and disavowed themselves from him?
Just a couple hours.
Now, I'm not up to date on kind of the in the moment stuff. I read what he tweeted. I mean, in my opinion, it was a harsh tweet, but I understood 100% what that tweet was. That was somebody who was in an emotional state, raging, angry, sad. I mean, all those things mixed in one bag, and you get that kind of heated response. And you know, I understand it. And you know, look, there are so many personalities in Geeks and Gamers, and I can find a way to argue with each and every one of them about anything at all.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter if I know anything about it. I can argue about it and sound like I know something about it. And
do you think?
And you know, everybody knows that at the end of the day, if there's ever a situation where somebody's bothered or somebody's not comfortable or somebody feels like they've been wronged, I'm not the kind of person who is going to go and fight them on something. I'll have their back in whatever it is. If it's somebody else, if you want me to go, if we jump in somebody, I'm with you. If we're about to go raid somebody's stream, I'm with you. You know, it doesn't matter what we argue about, because it's not an argument because I don't like you. It's an argument because I have fun debating. I have fun discussing. I love to talk to people about things if there's a discussion to be had. I thought that it was pretty pussy to say we're going to replace this guy. I thought Jeremy was right on with that, because how can you be the leader of your own, you know, network of people, and when one of them says something from the heart, and it's not, I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't really directed at anyone in particular. It was just directed at an element of a situation, and now you have effectively canceled him from that, you know, bubble of the industry that y'all are in. I thought that was a pretty cowardice move. You didn't even have the dignity to get to talk to this guy. You didn't even have the dignity to understand, look, everybody's kind of acting a little bit off their shit right now in the world. Let's, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt. But I felt like it just was not, I didn't like how it was handled. I reached out to Robert Meyer Burnett, tried to see if I could get him to come on. We were on, you know, Tom did as well. And we weren't able to get him in here, but I just want to let him know, Tom, I mean, my bad. Rob, I love you, man. Don't hide from these people. You know, don't hide from them. You're only canceled if you let them cancel you. You keep doing your thing because you got fans and you got people who support you. And I want to hear from everybody what they think about the situation and where they kind of stand on that sentiment, where again you see people getting canceled for things that really, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're really thinking past the first layer of the onion, you could see that it was not something that he meant maliciously towards anyone.
No, I mean, it's just like anything, man. Like, we have a lot of strong personalities at Geeks and Gamers. If there's anybody who gets upset because somebody said something in a video or whatever, rarely that's going to happen. But if there's an issue and there's something said on social media or a video or something, and there's an issue, I'm going to handle that behind the scenes. I'm like, all right, let's just say like Ryan and Uche or, you know, something. All right, guys, let's talk about it behind the scenes. Fuck Twitter. I don't give a fuck what people are talking about Twitter. Twitter's not real life. Fuck Twitter. But Harloff thinks Twitter is real life. And so he sees people talking something on Twitter and he's like, oh God, I got to react because people on Twitter are upset. Fuck Twitter. And yeah, there's no fucking way I would ever allow my team to dictate what I do from a decision-making process. I watched, you know, obviously I listen but I'm not going to take a mob mentality. Nobody can, you know, you can give me advice and you can speak your mind, but at no point, like Harloff's live stream earlier, you could tell. Dude had no idea what to say. He was just like,
they were just fucking rambling on about fucking nothing.
He was all over the place. He was riding the fence so fucking hard. And I'm like, dude, I know Robert. Like, he's been on Geeks and Gamers. He is a good dude. He is a solid dude, you know? And it's one thing that, because we always talk about people that are, you know, like out there, you know, people that are vocal about their dislike of Trump, and they typically are like they're way out there. And Robert, it's daily basis. He's like, go to hell, Trump. He's in Trump's comments, bitching him out every day. And, that's fine because he's a good dude. Like he's not like he has his opinions. You know what I mean? He has his social and his political opinions, and I don't care what they are. But he always has presented himself as a good guy, just a good guy. And to see him get just thrown out to the wolves like this, it's bullshit, man. And Christian should have been a better leader, and he should have taken a hold of that situation and go, guys, emotions are high. I totally understand that. What was it? RB3, he's very
that bitch. That's the bitch I want to talk about.
Yeah. And I he should have been like RB3. I know you got a different.
Who's RB3?
That's the smoke.
Robert Butler the third.
He's the first person that I know of that has ever made a shit list. Andre, I had no idea ever had a shit list, but he has made it.
Oh, is this the guy? Hold on. He made a shit list?
Andre, I've never heard him say that before, and he goes, that dude's on my shit list. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, so this dude is one of them. He's a guy
he has pissed a lot of people Andre off so badly that if you know anything about Andre, he is a very stoic.
I can tell.
It takes a lot for him to get upset about anything.
Yeah.
And after I told him all this shit, it had been his morning, but our last night, he was just like, this dude's on my shit list. Now we support R&B 110%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let me read you what Robert Butler III, who he says.
You want to screen share it? You want to screen share it so we can all see it?
Oh yeah, sure. If it won't take 5 minutes, I'll screen share it.
Boom!
Oh, record time. So this is after Robert Meyer Burnett has been piled on a little bit and says, okay, I'll delete my tweet. I only hope everyone remembers that dead man on a sidewalk who tried to do the right thing but was killed for it. And y'all want me to delete my tweet because, oh no, my tweet might cause violence. Too late, because obviously the dude just died. Robert Butler, he is the one that calls for this. Everyone in the Collider/Schmodown community. Robert Meyer Burnett continues to justify this aggressively offensive tweet. The shoot to kill mentality is the exact type of declaration that incites violence and murder. He chooses to stand with right-wing extremist ideology. We must condemn.
Right-wing ideology?
Yes,
Robert Meyer Burnett, right-wing ideology?
Look, I got to say this much. I mean, Jeremy's met him. I think you've met him, Ryan. I've known Robert for the better part of almost like 2 years now, okay? He is the most gracious, nicest, not one hateful bone in his body. I've heard him stick up for people. I mean, just talking in private, like, you'll say something off the cuff about, he'll stick up for people that he doesn't even necessarily agree with or like. This guy is one of the most fairest, caring guys I've ever met in my life. I cannot believe that anybody would call him such names. And Harloff's a fucking pussy. Oh. And all I got one thing to ask Harloff is, how is Galaxy's Edge? Oh, yeah. Never mind. And he should fucking know. I'm making a point with that. He should know what it's like to get canceled, because his little tirade is what got him canceled from Collider, folks. Remember that.
Can I see his profile picture?
Yeah, he does a podcast with Geeks of Color. Geeks of Color.
Click on his picture again. Is that him with them tight-ass braids?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, don't nobody wear braids in 2020, you bum.
He's got braids and he's got the Harry Potter glasses.
This bum with them tight-ass dookie braids. Get the fuck out of here. Right-wing ideology, motherfucker. What? Dude, if you paying attention to these riots, it ain't right-wingers that are fucking busting fucking stores open and laying out fucking stones for people to fucking throw at the police.
And look at this dude. Then he says, like, after Robert deletes the tweet, he says, this is the original tweet. Please share /retweet.
Oh, you just a snitching ass motherfucker now, too.
Yeah, he's a piece of trash.
Share this because he must be erased.
Yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
No, dude, like, that's cowardice. Like, okay, first off, you squeezed him into deleting his tweet. I would have never deleted it. I'd have been like,
no, me neither. That's what I told him.
Sue me. You can't, because this ain't your platform. But I would have never, and again, I'm not saying he's, I'm not dumping on him for deleting it. I mean, he deleted it. He felt like it was the thing to do to at least get these people off his back. That's fine. Me, I got a wide back. That shit's staying up there. But I just feel like, what is it saying about the people that you think are your friends when they do that to you. I mean, he knows what's the Hartloff. He knows Hartloff. He knows that cat well, right? Like they've known each other forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me that now? I mean, I'm assuming that relationship, that friendship, is dead in the water.
Nah, well, I don't know. According to Harloff, they talked about it.
I wouldn't believe. I wouldn't believe shit he says at this point. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, even Robert tweeted out that they were all good. So again,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a damn good guy. Yeah,
he's a good guy, but he's not doing business with that cat.
I would say respect to John Campia because Campia is sticking by Robert. So respect to Campia
I agree,
for that.
Yeah,
so
for now at least.
Well,
yeah,
Campia's got. I would guess Campia's got more stability than Hartloff does right now. So, from one end, he can afford. He can withstand any kind of blowback, but at the same time, you got to stand up for your guy. Like. You can't have a guy on your team and not stand right or wrong. You stand up for them and their right to say it if they want to. You may not agree with it, and you can say that. That's what I thought that they would have done, to say, hey, his opinions are his own, they're not ours, and kind of distance themselves from the tweet itself, but not from the man. And they did. They took it worst case scenario and distanced themselves from the man, cut themselves off from the man completely. I mean, it's just kind of. I have a real problem with people texting out their disapproval of somebody and that they're not going to work with somebody anymore because of that. To me, that's a coward's way out. It's easy to text whatever you want. That's the easiest thing to do in the world. It's hard to speak it to somebody. It's hard to look somebody in the eyes and say it, because that means you have to have conviction behind what you believe and what you stand for. Because once you say it to them, that's it. But you can tweet and delete and tweet and change your opinions from fucking one day to the next. But really speaking to people, and that's a problem I feel like we have in society today, is that people say this off the wall garbage because they don't got to say it to somebody's face. If you had to say it to their face, you wouldn't do it, because it takes balls to speak out of your voice to somebody else and tell them something that is going to possibly offend them and cause an altercation. People are scared of that, so they do it through our computers and through our phones, because it's a coward's way out for me. When I had my businesses in Atlanta, my club, before I shut it down, anybody I dealt with, it was face to face. If it's a problem, they know it's a problem because Uche's not texting you about it. He said, "Hey, well, let's talk." That's how they know, okay, there's an issue, because I'm going to come speak to you face to face so we can get it handled right then and there. And it doesn't mean I'm going to fire you, but we're definitely going to have a serious discussion, because and I owe you the respect to come and do it to your face, not to do it from far away on a phone. Anyways.
Holy shit. Saints fans are burning Drew Brees' jersey.
Oh, again. And the majority of those fans are going to be black fans. And I'm not saying it because it's necessarily a race thing. I'm saying it because it comes back to that tone. You're almost disregarding the entire. All this stuff over here is burning. It's all on fire, but you're not talking about that. And that's why I think people are going to get mad at it. You gotta be aware. You gotta speak about what's going on. You can't just put your opinion out there and not apply it to the context of the now. Anyways, going on to another. Oh, we got another super chat from Rebecca Browand, $2. LOL. I love Uche's styling advice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like pent back braids. Man, that was 2003. I was doing that. That dude from what was it? I don't even know. The black dude from
Robert Butler III, yeah.
RB3.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go raid his Twitter once we get done with this stream.
I want to ask RB3 and all his little buddies, like, all right, fine. You think it's okay to try and cancel Robert over what he said, okay? I get it. So basically you're telling me that that if it came down to it between you and Robert, Robert would be the one to try and save that man's life. You just stand over top of him and say, well, you shouldn't have tried to stop those looters, you know, because that's the problem I have here. I would love to ask each and every one of them individually. It's like, okay, I'm going to put you in this position. You're in your home with your family and there's looters at your windows and doors trying to break into your house. I guess you're going to make a cup of coffee and fucking just show them where the good shit is, huh?
Okay, show them where all the good shit is, huh? Nah,
fuck that bullshit. You're going to shoot to kill, just like fucking RMB said. So don't give me that fucking horse shit. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Right. Yes, RMB should have just, you know, not tweeted anything and just, you know, whatever. But you know what? No, he should not have to apologize. He should bow down to nobody. Fuck Christian Harloff. Fuck RB3. I don't care if you agree with me or not. The point is this. The problem is this, it shouldn't be like this. A man died on the cold fucking ground for the same reason that these protests and quotations are going down. That's the problem. You've got the media calling it peaceful protest. No, there's a difference between people standing there with signs in front of a courthouse, you know, chanting, and people who are throwing fucking bricks and rocks at people and breaking down through fucking doors and windows of stores and stealing TVs and shooting a man in the back over it.
Well, I would say we can separate that the peaceful protesters were the people who were who were looting stores and causing havoc. They weren't protesters to begin with.
No. And a lot of them, I've seen just as many white kids out there as black kids. So it's not a white-black thing necessarily. It's just people who want to cause fucking problems.
Yeah, people who are being opportunists and trying to, you know, cause havoc. They're not part of the protest to begin with. But you know, innately, the protests, that violence is going to be blamed on the protests, which, hey, that is the way it is. But, you know, if you're watching it, and we've all been watching it on TV, like, you've got these, I mean, it was weird to me. Like, you got all these, like, super, like, geared out white dudes, like, running around. They got GoPros on their forehead, throwing rocks, like, kicking. And then you got people who were your typical looters from within the community. Hey, they know as soon as, you know, Target's windows bust open, I can go grab me a rack of pants. That is going to happen. I mean, that, I can't speak to too many large-scale protests where you didn't have some element of that was involved in it. But of course, we all know that that's a bullshit way to handle these things. That's not what the message is, and that's not what people are trying to convey out there.
It's in direct conflict with the message.
Exactly. It directly goes against everything that the people who were over there peacefully protesting or trying to peacefully protest are trying to get done. Because now you got all these people who were over here looting who come and mingle back in with these crowds that are protesting, and the cops are already coming in to close in on them because because they know there's looting going on, and then you got all hell breaking loose. So it's tough, man. It's tough, and it's not. I don't think it was ideal for anybody once it got to that point where things started getting crazy, and it's just sad to see the violence. It's sad to see, things like, you're talking about here with people who are trying to, just honestly protect their business. For some people, that's all they have as far as income goes, and they're getting killed for it. And then I just heard about a guy who was barbecuing for his neighborhood while all this was going on. He got shot and killed by looters. Like these things, this is madness. It doesn't have anything to do with what people are trying to get across as a message, and all it does is it makes life harder for everybody else. So with all that being said, I really feel like if there's anything anybody else wants to talk about, we can start to wrap this up. I think we've been on here strong for about an hour and some change.
No, I mean it's I think it's there's so much craziness going on right now, so it's pretty cool to when we can have like me and Uche and Ryan kind of see things differently, or I guess me and Ryan see things differently than Uche does from my perspective. But having conversations, man, that's all it's about. Fucking talk and fucking shake hands when it's all said and done. And there's not enough of that going on. So I'm all about just get on here arguing like some fucking men, talking some shit, calling each other some names, and then go play some Mario Kart and watch Ryan cry.
Yeah.
So.
No, and you're right, Jeremy. Like, we don't always see eye to eye on stuff, but we actually see eye to eye on a lot of things. Now, sometimes we don't. Sometimes I know I won't say it to him because I know if I say it to him, he's gonna fucking come. He's gonna bring that up sooner or later.
Well, I think the biggest problem with the whole political, religious, everything is we all seem to forget that we all agree pretty much on the same basic three different fucking things. A, don't kill each other, don't do stuff to kids or animals, and don't take my shit. You know, as long as we can all agree on those things, you know, I think we're all kind of in the same page.
Yeah.
If you get into, you know, semantics and start going past that, oh yeah, we're going to have some disagreements. Mm-hmm. But I think we always forget the fundamentals, is that we all kind of agree on the same things. And it really sucks how tough it is in this day and age just to be nice to a person.
Yeah.
No matter what color skin they are, no matter what's between their legs, no matter what they're wearing, no matter where they're from, it just gets ridiculous. Because, I mean, I've seen, you know, streams where I'm not going to name exactly the streams and stuff, but there was people that were black on the stream, and there was a bunch of people in the chat asking, like, questions from the black perspective. I'm like, what difference does it make? They're a person. You don't think, what do you think, you know, soda tastes different to them just because they're black?
Can't speak for one race.
Get that. Yeah, it was just boggling my mind. It was like, why are you guys asking them these stupid questions? And it just really bothered me. And I mean, that's where we got to this point. Like, why? Why does it matter? I give a shit more about the fact, Uche, that you love Star Wars, that you're a fucking nerd and a half, but yet you were an NFL lineman. You know, that's amazing. Yeah. You know, Ryan was like, we just brought this up the other day, Jeremy, that Ryan was like the baby that me and Jeff and a few others had, and then we gave him to you to raise. Because we all knew him when he was just a little baby, you know. And I mean, that's the thing.
That's me.
Before the muscle milk.
And Jeremy, I look up to so much because he's done something that I think we all strive to do in this community. And I don't agree with half the politics he has, but you know what? I know that
it don't matter sometimes.
It doesn't matter because I know as a person that if it came down to it, that it didn't matter if he liked somebody or not. He would always side with whatever right was. Mm-hmm. Whatever the moral right was. I know that much about him. And I know you talked about this a little bit earlier too, Jeremy, about when people like come after us. I don't know how many messages about don't ever have R&B on your channel again. You know, and you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. And you know, what are we going to say to that? Go fuck yourselves then. See ya. There's the fucking door if you don't like it. I'm not going to have somebody tell me who I can talk to. You don't know who I know and how I know them. And if you think I'm going to turn around just because you and 3 other of your friends want me to change my mind, then I'm sorry. I don't have 3 more people watching my fucking videos then, I guess. Whoop-de-doo. What's more important to me is that I give a shit about a person and how he's treated, because that person has meant more to me than I can ever express. And just because you want to cancel him over a few words, go fuck yourself. That's the way it is. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but to try and tell somebody like that, it's like me coming up to you going, look, I don't like your girlfriend, so why don't you break up with her? What would you tell me? I don't know you from Tom, Dick, or Harry. You tell me to go fuck myself, right? I have no right to tell you that, just like you have no right to tell me who I can be friends with. You know, so, and I know Jeremy agrees with that sentiment because I've seen you say it, or heard you say it a million times, and see you say it on Twitter and other places. So, you know, I get sick and tired of the bullshit. It's done. I did say fuck, Steph.
You said it.
You act like it's the first time you've ever fucking heard me say it. That's the problem. You've been on so many shows with me, you'd think you'd heard me say it a few times. I mean, I guess when the ladies are around, I do curtail that a little bit.
Hey, yeah, when you got the what was it, the shenanigans? What about you, Ryan? Like, what's your kind of like? We're closing. No, you're good, man. I'm kind of trying to get everybody's closing thoughts, you know. And hey, if you got to speak for a little bit to get it out, that's fine.
No, I'm good. I said basically all I want to say. Fuck these cancel culture bitches. I'm not sleeping. See everybody in chat saying I'm sleeping. I'm trying to figure out fucking YouTube stupid new studio. I'm trying to fucking just get the damn stream key for fucking Gaming with Geeks. That's all I've been doing literally the past like fucking 40 minutes. It's fucking driving me crazy. So that's what I'm doing right now. So we are going to be doing Mario Kart, guys, on Gaming with Geeks. I don't have an event because I don't fucking understand how this shit works on this new YouTube stupid thing. But anyway, listen, LeBron James is a bitch. LeBron James is a hypocrite. I went after him hard. I think Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, unfollowing Drew Brees on Twitter is completely bitch made. That is so petty and stupid. Listen, I agree or disagree with Drew Brees. Like, the end of the day, he's mostly on your side in this whole thing, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know. I think it's dumb. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of Robert Meyer Burnett. I like him. I think he's a really good guy. I don't really give a shit about his politics. But I think Christian Harloff is a fucking sack of shit. And watching him squirm on that live stream today was hilarious. You could tell these guys were just like staring at the like-dislike ratio like a bunch of pussies. They didn't say anything. What were they even talking about? Nothing. So Christian Harloff, listen, you should feel bad for Robert Meyer Burnett. He was busting his ass for 2 years for Schmodown, where the fuck that thing is.
Yeah,
so,
I never. What is it? Like, I don't know.
A bunch of schmoes getting together and talking about.
It's like a big trivia contest, and they've been doing it for years. I mean, and it's kind of a big deal, but it's like, is it really something that you had to make that quick of a judgment call on, other than you're getting a little bit of pressure from some fucking Twitterati's?
Yeah. I mean, again, and I think everybody here has spoken pretty eloquently on it. I mean, at a certain point, when you know people in the industry and when you have connections and you have relationships, you don't want to burn bridges. But then again, and also you don't want to, and I go back to this phrase again, you don't want to throw people who you claim to be your friends under the bus, because we all say things that we wish we could take back. We all have tweeted things where we're like, I probably shouldn't have tweeted that. But what is the message behind what he actually typed? And if you can understand that message, then you shouldn't have been so hasty. You shouldn't so hastily have decided to let him go and take him out of what he'd been doing, the work he'd been doing for you guys for how long? Like, that shows no loyalty. That shows that you are a backstabber. That shows that you are a coward. It shows that you don't have the wherewithal to stand up in front of a crowd and say, hey, it's my guy. He's with us. Hey, it's a free country. He can say what the fuck he wants. If you don't like it, hey, that's fine. But he's our guy. We're not going to fire him because you don't like what he said.
The difference between Robert and a lot of other people is, if he may not like Trump, but if Jeremy is like, I love Trump, he wouldn't go, well, fuck you, get out of my fucking store or whatever.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly, right. Like, that's the mark of a decent person. Like, well, you can live with the fact that somebody doesn't agree with you on everything. That's just life.
Robert Meyer Burnett is the most sweetest guy I've ever fucking met in my life. I can't understand this. And Uche, I just want to say thank you for giving me this chance to talk about it. I know we tried to get him on here, but
yeah, look, man,
it boils my blood.
I'm glad to have all of you guys on here. I feel
I'm too toxic, man. You shouldn't come on with me.
No, man, y'all are all great in my book, mainly because, for me, this realm, I'm a rookie in this realm. I'm versed in it now, but you guys have been doing this for years. You guys have been in it for years. You guys have been working y'all's butts off, and y'all have a very strong followings. And that's something that I respect, and that's something that I look at and I say, boom, there's something to strive to attain, is to have the kind of respect and influence as these guys do, because they put in the time to get it done. And we know that Jeremy can be a dick. We know that he says a lot of dumb shit. We know that he's a little bit outside of the box. But
says the guy who trained with all of the experts, the worldwide experts.
And hey, I got to correct you. He's an above average dick.
We know he's an above average dick.
I'm not quite Africa like Uche. I ain't got that big old log to swing around.
But the dude he's got the same ambition and drive that I see in guys who are making $6, $7, $8, $9 million a year. He has the same drive as those guys, and he don't give a damn about how people view him. He knows he's set his formula, he's working it, and he's seeing results. And why try to fix what ain't broke? And, Midnight's Edge, dude, like I told all of you guys, I was watching y'all before I even joined with y'all, before I even knew about y'all. I never even had communicated with y'all. I was watching y'all stuff. So I get it and I respect it. And again, I'm glad that you guys welcomed me in. Now, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring this thing to an end here just because we got some Mario Karting to get done.
You got a super sticker.
You got any super chats to get through first?
Yeah. My bad. Let me see here. We got one super chat to get through. Damn, just one?
Oh,
come on, guys. Subhuman 84. What's going on, brother? $3. Appreciate that. Super sticker. That's Subhuman, you guys. Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys for being on. Appreciate everybody in the chat.
Hey, Uche, can you I put something in the private chat. Can you copy and paste that into the YouTube stream since I'm on a different account right now?
Yeah, got you.
That's the Mario Kart stream, guys. Head there. We'll be live in 15 minutes.
And here is our Mario Kart stream. Make sure that you get in there and check us out because I'm getting my first win today, and you can believe that.
Oh shit, that's the porn link. Whoops.
Subhuman sent the rock and roll hands. Jay Rickman sent 100% or whatever.
There we go. We got that 99-cent. Appreciate that with the super sticker.
All you had to do is play victim. Be like, only one super chat.
Her super sticker is 2 cartoon characters giving each other high fives. So there you go.
This is.
I can see what they are here. The other one was 100% or whatever.
Oh, okay, 100. Yeah. All right, so I must need to upgrade something.
Yeah, you're just seeing. No, it's just the way StreamYards is.
Oh, okay, got you. Oh, appreciate everybody in the
chat
super
open,
chat.
So yeah,
thank you very much, everyone in the super chat. I really appreciate that. You guys are the best, and look for me to do more live streams. I just got a round of new logos, as you can see in the top right corner. I got my new Observant Lineman logo sticker up there. That's gonna be all over my merch. That's gonna be all over everything. So get ready for it to come. I appreciate you guys for being with us, and we will catch you guys in the Gaming with Geeks live Mario Kart stream coming up next. Peace.